Dance Danseur is an incredible anime, and it's about something I don't care about at all, but I have learned to appreciate it because of this anime, and that's ballet. Ballet to me had always been really boring to watch, and it seemed like something that only girls were interested in, but this anime made me realize that ballet can actually be pretty cool, and that it's something not just for girls. Now, how does this anime turn something I thought was boring and lame into something I now think is cool? Well, there's three main reasons. The first and probably biggest one is because it's an anime, and anime is able to make anything seem cool and exciting, whether it's volleyball or ice skating or even golf. So most likely I would not enjoy a real ballet performance, although an anime ballet performance is pretty enjoyable. But still, because of this anime, I think ballet is cool, even if I'll never watch it. The second reason is how good the writing and characters are. Very early on, I was invested in these characters who happen to love ballet, and it made me want to see them do ballet, even though I didn't care about it. The other reason is the main character and the arc he goes through, which actually leads me into talking about the plot of Dance Danseur. The story follows a boy named Junpei, who when he was a little kid, his parents took him to a ballet performance, and a male ballet dancer performed there, and Junpei was enthralled by this man's performance. So because of this, he now wants to do ballet. But then suddenly his father dies. And at his father's funeral, Junpei's uncle tells him that he's now the man of the house, so he has to protect his family in his father's stead. So because of this, Junpei decides to start doing something more manly than ballet, specifically a martial arts called Jeet Kune Do, like his father. Fast forward to Junpei in high school, he continues to do Jeet Kune Do, even though he still has a secret passion for ballet, because martial arts is cool and manly while ballet is not. Then one day, the prettiest girl in his school, Miyako, shows up to his house because she does ballet and happened to notice that the so-called flying kick Junpei did earlier at school was actually a ballet move, and it turns out he's extremely good at it. So Miyako wants to do ballet with him, which Junpei is reluctant to do. But one panty flash later, Miyako drags him to the ballet studio her mom runs, where Junpei is finally able to do those ballet jumps he'd been secretly practicing in his bedroom in an actual ballet studio, and he realizes how fun it is. Junpei, however, still won't admit that he loves ballet, but the thought of Miyako wanting to dance with him at an upcoming ballet performance, as well as the fact that he does love ballet, even if he won't admit it, keeps him coming back to the studio to practice. Now, I love the way Junpei starts off as a character, and seeing him struggle with this idea that he can't do ballet because it isn't manly is really great. You see him at his martial arts class having fun, but he can't help but wonder why he doesn't feel that same special feeling doing martial arts that he feels when doing ballet. And I think starting off Junpei as a character who likes ballet but thinks it's not cool so he shouldn't do it is a great idea. Obviously, you know from the beginning that Junpei will eventually do ballet. I mean, it's an anime about ballet. It's even in the title. Danseur is what a male ballet dancer is called. But starting off with Junpei trying to figure out if he wants to do ballet lets the viewers who don't know anything about ballet discover with Junpei how ballet can actually be fun and not lame. Then that moment where he finally realizes that it's okay to do the thing he loves will pay off more because you got to learn that ballet can be cool before that moment even happens. And this arc Junpei goes through is the other reason I was talking about earlier that made me think ballet is cool, because I felt like I was discovering with Junpei how cool ballet can be. This happens over the first 3 episodes, and by the end of those episodes, I was really invested in the story and pretty interested in the ballet aspect of the show, which is why the way the first 3 episodes are done is great, because the first 3 episodes got me interested in ballet so I could appreciate the rest of the show, since after this point ballet becomes more of the main focus, and man, some of the performances that happen later on in the show are really exciting and entertaining. My favorite one has a scene, which I won't spoil, that has to do with Junpei and another character I haven't mentioned yet. If you've seen the show, you probably know what I'm talking about, but I love that scene, and the way it was animated and the art style it used was so cool. Speaking of, the other main character I've yet to talk about is Luo. He's basically Junpei's rival. For personal reasons, he's staying with Miyako and her mother. He's also really good at ballet. He also hates Junpei. Luo looks down on him and is always telling him how much he sucks at ballet. And Luo is a really interesting character. At first, he's kind of an asshole, but he's so good at ballet that even Junpei, who dislikes Luo, can't help but get captivated by him and be impressed with this guy who has the basics of ballet down, and because of that is able to do things Junpei would never be able to do without a lot of practice. Whereas Junpei, because he's starting ballet so much later than Luo, has to learn all the basics before he can do anything else. And another thing that's really interesting about Luo is how confident he is when doing ballet compared to when he's not doing ballet, because you come to learn that Luo is actually a very shy kid outside of anything besides ballet. Luo, who for a while had been out of school, eventually starts going back, and pretty quickly he starts getting bullied and won't stand up to them, which is completely different from how he acts around Junpei when they're practicing ballet. Because while Luo is insanely good at ballet, it's all he's ever known. He's never had the chance to socialize because he's always been practicing ballet, which is why he's so good at it. And it's really interesting seeing Luo, who Junpei had thought was this arrogant guy who looked down on anyone who wasn't as good as him, turn into this very timid kid. And that's why I think he's such an interesting character, who may start off like an asshole, but as you see more of him, as well as learn about his past, you start to see how he's very different under the surface, and you eventually see why he turned out this way, and it's actually pretty sad. Now, another thing that I love about this anime is how it deals with this idea of how it's not okay to do something just because you're a boy because it isn't manly. And the way it goes about showing you that it doesn't matter your gender, you can do what you want to do in life is really great. I actually really resonated with Junpei, who felt like this, because while this is different from ballet, I used to feel like crying was not okay to do in front of other people because it isn't manly. And to a certain extent, I still feel like this and have a hard time doing this. So seeing Junpei realize that he should just do ballet because he loves it and not care what others think was great, and it felt very impactful to me. So this was one of the main reasons I really liked this anime, because I could really relate to Junpei. Now, I do have a lot more I could say about this series. I mean, like, I originally was going to put some spoilers for the first, like, 3 to 4 episodes in here to tell you about some of the scenes I love, but I really don't want to spoil this anime, and some of the moments that happen I think are better if you just experience it yourself and not have me tell you about it. So even if you're someone who doesn't like ballet, I still think you should check this anime out. The way this story is told is great, as well as the fantastic writing and characters. This is definitely one of the best anime to come out this year, and I think it deserves more people talking about it. And who knows, maybe after watching it, you'll also think ballet is cool. Thanks for watching, everybody. I'll see you next time.